Still on energy security, following the approval of the Eskom debt relief bill by the National Council of Provinces, all that's left is for President Cyril Ramaphosa to assent it into law. And the bill entails the transfer of a portion of Eskom's 400 billion rand debt to the National Treasury. Now, will this make a difference in solving the country's energy crisis? Well, at this stage, we don't know. We can only rely on experts in their view. And we're joined by Ruse Moleshe Energy Analyst to help us make sense of it all. Jose, good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us. Will this really go a long way in restoring power, considering that Eskom has been perpetually on the bailout of government and National Treasury?
Good morning, Cindy, and to the viewers. This will make a difference because Eskom's balance sheet is highly encumbered based on the debt that they have. And that makes it difficult for Eskom to do any decent maintenance work that they require to do. So reducing the debt costs that Eskom pays to service it are also very high. So this will make a difference, definitely. It will.
Yeah, but we also have other analysts who suggest that this is actually, it marks the beginning of the end of the parastatal as we know it, because, again, if the finances is being taken over by National Treasury, there's no guarantee that the power utility can actually function optimally.
There is no guarantee that the utility will function optimally, but there are signs that they are on the right track in terms of having governance. For instance, the new board that they've brought in seems to be a credible board. We have seen a little bit of improvement in terms of the energy availability factor. We hope that that will be sustainable. If they do proper maintenance, we hope that they can get out of the woods. Of course, eventually, a government aims to restructure and the utility and break it down into 3 subsidiaries. So from that angle, Eskom as we know it is likely to change. And the funding model that they will likely to follow is more of a transmission company that eventually anyway, that then transmits power for other entities and earns revenues from that.
Yeah, but are we not delaying the inevitable that ultimately this is in pursuit of the privatization of the state-owned entity?
Look, from a risk point of view, Eskom generates over 90% of power in South Africa. Nobody can wish that away. And there is no country in the world that in a short space of time would be able to replace that. So we do need Eskom. We are going to need Eskom for a foreseeable future, and we cannot wish that away. No amount of new capacity can just replace 90% of our supply. So we have to, whether we like it or not, make sure that we assist Eskom to be in a better footing.
But throwing money at the problem, is that really resolving the root cause of where we are in the first place, the aging infrastructure, lack of political will or mismanagement, corruption, sabotage, and everything else in between?
No, throwing money at the problem will not assist. However, we understand that National Treasury has done their homework in the form of an independent company that is reviewing Eskom, and they will have conditions for how the money will go in. So hopefully it's not just throwing money into Eskom, but it is a measured risk from National Treasury, because at the end of the day, this will affect South Africa in general in terms of the funding. So if those conditions, we look at the conditions and understand that they will be stringent, together with restructuring the entity and making sure that we have the right parties on the table, ethical leadership that will lead the transformation of the entity.
And if we talk rands and cents, the ballpark figure, it said that it's a portion of the money of the Eskom debt that will be taken over by National Treasury, but they might as well just take over the entire debt. How much are we looking at just from the get-go?
We're looking at 254 billion staggered into 3 years of Eskom. The first one, I think, is 2023-2024, which is about 78 billion. And then the 66 billion, and then 40 billion, another 70 billion will be converted together with the 40 billion into equity.
All right, Ruse, thank you so much for your time. That's Ruse Moleshe, an energy analyst, just talking to us about the Eskom story. As you may have heard, that the National Council of Provinces had given the green light for the Eskom debt relief bill. It is now up to President Cyril Ramaphosa to essentially to sign on the dotted line and rubber stamp this particular decision.